It all started on the 2nd of December 2025 and it comes to an end today. The biathlon season is in to its final day. The women and the men with their final race. It's a mass start. It does not get more exciting. The best 30 in the world going head to head, and consequently they're coming up to the Holmenkollen Stadium in big numbers for this last event in Oslo. Mike, what a season it's been.
It's been a great season from the get-go, and a variety of winners, both men and women. No complete dominator. Great season.
Well, let's just have a quick reminder of the programmes coming up. The mass start for the women is due off in just about 15 minutes' time, and then the men go at 2:45. We'll be on air at 2:30 just to look at the favourites for that event and what is at stake. Mike, most of the globes have been claimed already. Jeanmonnot and Perrault have been exceptionally successful, but you know, battling it out for the top three in the overall is still fairly key, especially as there are two sisters in second and third.
Yes, it is a badge of honour, isn't it? And the Oeberg sisters coming into great form, having had a poor Olympic game, so a good ending.
Well, talk about endings. Dorothea Viera's career is over. Retired after the Olympics at 35, 17 seasons of biathlon. She won two big globes back in 19 and 20, 88 podiums and 24 World Cup wins. And of course, four times Olympics. Here she is, retired.
It was 2.5 years and really long because you are waiting the Olympics and everyone is talking about the Olympics. And but it was really nice to race at home with all the crowd and all the fans and family, and it was really special, and I think it was the best decision ever for me, and I have just nice memories, so I stopped with a really good feeling, you know. I'm trying to combine watching biathlon and be with my friends and meet my old teammates and just have a talk with the other guys from IBU, from biathlon world. So it's like, yeah, nice to have time to speak also with the people, because normally when you're an athlete, it's so full program and you have to focus so much about races. And now I have time to just share some memories and to speak about future, and it's really good. I'm still working with biathlon somehow, and of course I have some requests, and I think I need just some time to decide what to do. But as I say, for me it's like final season now. It's finished forever. I mean, I know it, but my body and everything, it's just like, final season end, so I need some weeks, I think.
What a career it was. She's gone from biathlon, but won't be forgotten. And she's not the only one retiring this year. Preutzer's already hung up the skis. Hauser racing here this weekend, her last weekend of biathlon. Batovska, Fialkova, that's a shame. She's skiing as well as she's ever done. Fialkova of Czechia, and of course, Jean-Pierre Giacchino, who's been holding the reins for the French team for so long. He's going to be sadly missed.
He definitely will, Patrick. And, you know, when you've got a coach like Jean-Paul, he's such a fixed figure, a safe figure. They can all talk to him. You know, he's a serious coach. They respect him. And that's quite a loss for the French women's team. Their shooting is in place. It's at a high standard.
Yeah, did I say Jean-Pierre by mistake? Jean-Paul. Giacchino, yeah, he's been great for the French women's team. He'll be hoping for a bit of success today. Mike, it looks as though the women's mass start title is going to France with Julie Simon. Quite a healthy margin ahead. Only needs 45 points and it's in the bag.
The conditions so much better today, Patrick. The slightly colder night last night, so you can see how firm, and it has been salted as well, so very firm, fast conditions today.
Well, I think we're about to have a chat. I think it's contention.
Clément, tu as
No,
un
it's
job un peu
Clément.
particulier
Maillet,
dans le monde du
not
ski. Tu
Fion
développes
Maillet.
les skis pour une marque. Est-ce que tu peux nous présenter en quelques mots ton
And,
métier ici?
Alors le métier il est un
Lewis
petit peu en
saying,
deux
can you
aspects.
explain
Alors, en tant que
what
marque,
his
ici, on est
job
là
is
pour,
here?
choisir
He says he's got a couple
les
of
meilleurs skis, sélectionner les meilleurs
angles.
skis pour que les athlètes performent au mieux. On
First
travaille,
is to promote the brand
amont,
and
nous,
select
au
the
sein
best
du
possible
développement
skis for the
et la
athletes,
sélection vraiment du ski.
and then of course with
Et
the
ensuite,
waxing
avec les
teams
techniciens et avec
to
les
make sure
athlètes
that
sur
they
le
get
terrain
the
pour
best
vraiment
possible
avoir
equipment
la meilleure
and
paire de skis au
best
départ
opportunities
possible
to
pour,
prepare the
pour
best
tous les athlètes
skis.
qu'on a.
Est-ce que des fois tu te retrouves à devoir faire des choix en termes de hiérarchie
He
et
says, do they
de
sometimes have to
niveau
make
mondial?
Il y
decisions
a
as to
toujours un
who
petit peu des
gets the
choix à
best
faire. On
skis?
essaye de
Is there a
minimiser.
hierarchy in the
Moi, je
in the
préfère,
teams? He says,
apporter les
well, there's
skis,
always a few
que
choices
tout
to
le monde ait
make.
besoin
They
pour qu'au
try
départ, tout le
and
monde ait
minimise
une
them
paire
as
de
much
skis
as
pour performer,
possible.
aller chercher le meilleur résultat.
He'd
Ensuite,
far
on a
rather
des
give
cas
good
comme,
skis
par
to
exemple, l'année
everyone
dernière, en fin de
and
saison,
give
avec
everyone a
une
chance
Francisca
of coming
Preuss
out
qui
on
joue
top.
le
But
jusqu'à la dernière
sometimes,
course. On est obligé
particularly
un petit
like
peu
last year with
privilégier du temps
Francisca
et du
Preuss, who was
matériel
just
pour
about to
ces
win the
athlètes.
overall title,
Jean,
they
se pose toujours
focused
la
on
question
her.
du pourcentage. Qu'est-ce que ça apporte à un bon ski? Est-ce qu'on peut
Lewis
jouer avec
saying,
un ski
you
moyen?
know, everyone's always wondering how important are the skis? Can you get a top result with an average pair of skis?
Maintenant, c'est vraiment
And
toujours aller chercher
Clement
vers-
saying, yeah,
vers
we
le
always
mieux.
need
Il
to
faut
be
quelque chose
at
de
the
très
top,
performant pour vraiment,
especially now. There's so
aller
much
chercher,
competition,
des
and
superbes résultats. Ça
we
va
always
aussi
try
de
to go
pair
for the best
avec,
skis
le
possible,
travail que font les techniciens des
and
nations
generally
sur le
that
fartage, ces
results
choses-là. Donc,
with good results.
on mélange un petit peu notre travail, on essaye de faire
And
le
he
mieux
says it
ensemble,
goes
et
in
puis
combination
après,
with the
à eux
waxing
de
teams as
faire la
well. It's not just the skis, it's not just the wax, it's a combination. He's asked tricky question: is there a revolution around the corner as far as the skis go? And Clément saying yes, he thinks there is. The last few years they've been making some more developments, but he thinks there's just about to be a massive revolution with something quite new. Lewis, you can't leave us there. You have to give us some sort of idea of what it is. And he's Clément's not going to commit himself, but saying we're working on something that's faster, lighter, and has much higher performance. And he thinks it will be accessible for everyone. So I'm assuming, Mike, it's to do with material, if it's going to be lighter and stronger.
That's interesting, you know, carbon fibre, a lot has been tried historically. And it needs to be quite heavy, the traditional ski, because you've got a herringbone structure in there, a very solid wood structure in there. Carbon fibre would be the way to go, but it doesn't react well, I would have thought, in terms of the temperatures or the temperature change.
Temperature variation, yes, and of course you need the sort of torque, the strength of the ski torsionally is so important. But I don't think he would have said that if there wasn't something coming up. So that's something to look forward to for next year. And we've got something to look forward to in 6 minutes' time, the start of the women's mass start. Well, what a duel we've had between the French and the Swedish women over the last 3 weeks, Mike, since the Olympic Games. France came out on top in the Olympics. I think Sweden have just about edged it since then.
I think they have, definitely, in terms of form, and especially the sprint competition on day one here. They were magnificent, maybe inspired by Jean-Marc Chablot retiring. His team talk would have been, listen, we need to get the Nations Cup, and with their good results, they achieved that for the first time ever, so it was brilliant.
Yeah, the sprint here was sensational. Sweden absolutely on fire when they needed to be. Their shooting was perfect. Suvi Minkkinen has struggled a bit, Mike. She's dropped from second down to fourth in the overall standings and is not miles behind. But she's got to beat the Oeberg sisters if she wants to get back up into the top three. Vittozzi sitting in 5. Julia Simon, who's on a roll and skiing brilliantly at the moment, is in 6 on 7.82. And Anna Magnusson, who was leader of the World Cup in the early stages of the season, down in 7th place. So she's hasn't fallen off a cliff, but she's fallen off the bottom step of a rung, I think.
And it's so hard to keep your concentration, your physical form from end of November, first World Cup, all the way through towards the end of March. Quite incredible. And maybe Simon, there she is with the 200 points, maybe a little lucky to miss the first World Cup and build her form as the season has progressed.
Yeah, as you can see, Simon 45 points clear there in the mass start standings. And she doesn't need to do too much. If she gets 45 points, she is home and dry because she's got a couple of wins already in the mass start. And as we saw in the men's sprint, it can come down to who's got the best positions on the podium the most often. Lagerheide just snatching the crystal globe from Seb Samuelsson, who was looking and longing for that first ever trophy. He's going to have to come back for another year. But I've been really impressed with Samuelsson and Ponsaloma this year, Mike. The Swedes just need another 2 top stars, and then they will challenge Norway and France.
I think they will. Shakaida, she's only turned, recently 23-year-old, 5th of March, I think, her birthday. I think she struggled in this latter part of the season, having had a great Olympics. Poor start at the Olympics, but found her way to win the sprint competition.
Talking about the Olympics, Océane Michelon, the Olympic champion in the mass start. Is she going to be able to produce that sort of form? Not many Olympic champions, Mike, have continued their winning ways since Cortina Milano.
Strange, isn't it? Is it pressure? Is it you've achieved all your aims and everything else is less exciting? It's a strange psychology.
Well, we've still got a couple of minutes, so maybe now, rather than leaving it till later, Mike, is a good opportunity. We'll just wait a little bit, but have a think of your best moments from the season so far. It may be yet to come. We may get the highlight of the season in the next race, but just have a think. And once we've seen Tandrevold zeroing her weapon, much better from Tandrevold over the last couple of weeks. So I think her spirits will be rising as well as her ski form. Welcome back to Oslo. If you've just come off a break, we are now 4 minutes away from the last race of the season for the women. 12.5 kilometre mass start, 3 races in 4 days. It's been a brutally hard programme for them here at the end of the season, and especially because the snow has been so soft. That big climb out of the stadium, Mike, they've got to do it all again.
They have. You know, this is the course the men did yesterday for the pursuit competition. It's definitely not an easy course. At 437-metre climb throughout. That's with tired legs. That's with all the races carried out from the end of November. A tough last day.
Yeah, temperature's still the wrong side of 0, but a lot better than it was earlier in the week where it was 8-9 degrees. There are the World Cup rankings on the right. Their bib numbers on the left. They correlate all the way through to number 25, except for where athletes have basically retired. So Vera and Preuss certainly throw that, just throw them off a little bit. But the top 25 in the World Cup standings get the right to start. Tandrevold just squeezes in, but she would have got in on the back of some good results. So it's nice to see her in a mass start. Gesblum, who had a really good race in the sprint at the start of this meet. Haki Gross is coming back to form for Switzerland. Grotia certainly capable of winning a head-to-head. So let's hope that she's got some decent ski speed today. Still a couple of minutes to go, Mike. Your best moment of the season?
Well, it sounds boring in a sense. It was at the Olympics. I say boring when Frišteva, the rank outsider, finished in 3rd place in the Olympic individual, and her teammate Todorova 4th the next race. So to see a new nation coming through for me was very exciting.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But I had so many. I thought the rise of Minkinen and Magnussen at the start of the season was brilliant. I thought Shirkaida's sprints in Ruhpolding and Le Grand Bonnard, where she won by fractions of a second, were fantastic. And you know, the finish between Simon and Hanna Oeberg yesterday was brilliant. But for me, it has to be Vittozzi's gold at the Olympic Games. The underdog in front of all her home fans, 20,000 of them, coming back from a year of injury. It was just the perfect story. And I'll remember that for the rest of my time in biathlon. You know, she had more pressure than a deep sea sub, and she coped with it, shot 0, and really got the games underway.
It was incredible, and that moment will live with her for the rest of her life. It was a sensational day.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they make a few more memories today. The start just seconds away. The last race of the season. It's individual race number 21, 12.5 kilometres. Jeanmonnot has already claimed the overall World Cup, so this is about finishing in second, third, fourth and fifth. And the top five, or the top from 2 down to 5, could all end up in second place if they have a good day today. There will be a few twists and turns, lots of drama yesterday. How do you see this one working out, Mike?
Do you know what? It's so difficult to predict. As we've seen, Patrick, the last 3 World Cup races, the top 3 separated by 0.8 of a second, then by 2.7 of seconds, and of course in Kontiolahti 3 weekends ago, 8.9 seconds. Every time the women take part in this race, it's practically unpredictable. Simone has come good, but I think we're going to see up to 5 charging towards the finish line at the same time.
Yeah, so Simone is wearing the red bib, and as we mentioned, she's 45 points clear. If she finishes in the top 6, the title is hers. Even if Jeanmonnot, who's in the yellow bib, wins, Jeanmonnot is certainly capable of winning this. And we do know, Mike, that when it goes wrong for Simone, it goes badly wrong. Her results this year, 2 wins and a 21st.
It does go badly wrong. Her fast shooting, if she's not laser focused, it can slip away. But Simone has got the most victories out of all the starters, 6 victories in mass start. She loves this head-to-head.
Well, pretty much a full house here in Oslo. You can see the Churchill on the left of the screen. It's got quite a few fans on it. The Helena Bakken, or Gratis Bakken, whichever you like to call it, is always well crowded. They get a good view of the stadium, and there's a big screen that they can look at just across the other side of the road, so they know exactly what's going on in the range area. And are you surprised to see the 2 Oebergs controlling the pace?
Well, I was expecting what we saw at the start, where Jeanmonnot went out front to try and hold the pace, in my opinion, but straight away the Oeberg sisters, no, we're on form, we're going to lead this, and we're going to push the pace hard.
Well, if the 2 Oebergs ski side by side, Mike, there's no way of anyone getting past. Jeanmonnot says she's had enough of it, comes out of the lane. She's going through wearing the blue bib, the best of the under-23 athletes this year. It's been a difficult finish to the season for Jeanmonnot, Mike. Really, she timed her form perfectly, didn't she, in terms of winning at the Olympics?
Quite amazing. That was on the back of a really poor mixed relay, where she was on the penalty loop twice, so out of character. And then the second race poor, but yes, she came into the gold medal winning ways. And she could surprise us today. Jeanmonnot on the left. Hasn't been a great outing so far at home in Oslo.
Now, this is the race that effectively has the lowest penalty for a missed shot. So they can afford to shoot a bit faster than normal. Not that they hang around nowadays. Hanna Oeberg has joined the ranks of the sharpshooters after yesterday, outshooting Julia Simone, which takes some doing. Lisa Vittozzi still very, very quick. And that's something, Mike, that I think we have to thank Dorothea Viera for. She was the one that started to take the high-risk approach.
It was quite amazing, you know. She had shown that fast shooting at Junior World Youth Championships, then Junior World Championships, and she carried rapid-fire shooting 17 years ago into World Cup racing. Everybody thought that's not the way to go. There's too much risk for missing, but she built it in from a young age, and eventually a lot of the field have followed.
Well, I'm going to have a little wager with you. This is going to be the slowest lap that we see today.
It is. I'm surprised. So they put the Oeberg sisters put their status at the front of the field and then have slowed it down. Very surprised.
Well, maybe they know. Maybe Hannah's thinking, if I have a sprint at the end of the race like I had yesterday, I need to do as much slow skiing as I possibly can. Now, at this speed, Mike, we would normally expect 15 to shoot clear. The wind conditions are kind, certainly not difficult by Ottopa standards. So we should see between 15 and 20 clear the targets. But strange things can happen on the first shoot of the final race of the season.
It can, and you know, with this slowish pace, there will be rapid fire. Your breathing will be slightly more under control, and with that rapid fire, more risks could happen. But yes, I think we'll see 15 to 17 shoot 5 out of 5 first time.
Yeah, Julie Simon in red just edges ahead, and they're about 6 across as they climb Hellner back. And this is where the race is won and lost on so many occasions. But in biathlon, the final shoot often determining the result. Wasn't the case yesterday. 2 of the best sprint finishes we've ever seen, but very, very different, Mike. One was a tactical finish from Hanna Oeberg, and another was an all-out fair contest between Perrault and Lagride.
And it was so interesting, Lagride admitting that he's not a sprinter, and he just thought, he expected Eric Perrault to tire. He saw he was tired on the second and third lap, and he thought it would be an easy victory. It wasn't. It was half a boot's length to take that victory.
I think it's probably fair to say that Lagride skied the sprint out of Perrault by the pace that he set up the big climb that they've just been up here. Number 10 going through, Justine Brezard-Boucher. There was talk before the Olympics, Mike, there was talk that she might retire after the Olympics. Obviously, she's gone all the way through to the end of the season. I haven't seen confirmation that she's definitely going to finish, but I think she is.
I've got a feeling she is as well. You know, and like the great Sven Fischer, everybody asked him, are you finishing? Please tell us when you're finishing. He never did. He just quietly disappeared. So maybe Brezard-Boucher taking the same approach. Take the pressure off her for the final race.
Yeah, we normally get a list through, but it's not come through so far as to who is going. We know about a few of them. And after their successes, I cannot see the Oebergs hanging up their skis quite yet. Jeanmonnot certainly won't. Loving the fact that she's got so many of the Crystal Globes this year. The white obviously indicating a hit. The red misses. Otterper, it was more red than white. Here, it's more white than red, and so it should be.
She's great. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, she upped the pace. She made it difficult for those who want to try and follow.
Yeah, Hanna Oeberg's on her tail again. It's a repeat of yesterday, and look at the gap that they've opened up. That's very, very surprising. Minkkonen with a miss, Vittozzi with a miss, so that's a penalty loop. Schurkeide misses, Brezard-Boucher, Mike, 2 misses, and, well, I hope she can fight her way back in, but the quality of the field up front is going to make that very, very difficult.
Yeah, the Germans, Tannheimer, that looks good. She's hit 5 out of 5. Grotian, on the other hand, missed the first shot, but certainly yesterday she hit 20 out of 20.
Yeah, Simon the quickest shot, 22 seconds. Haki Gross, 22.4. Johansson of Norway, who's making a reputation of for herself with the rifle at 22.6. Vittozzi missed, but still shot in 23.3. And Hanna Oeberg, 23.3. Now, last year, Mike, and the year before, Hanna Oeberg would lose 5 or 6 seconds to Julie Simon on every shoot. She's worked to turn that around.
She really has, and often last year, Hanna would miss regular.
Well, where have you seen this before? 24 hours ago in this stadium, Simon versus Oeberg, and they've got a 6-second gap between themselves and third. The Olympic champion in 3, Jeanmonnot, the overall World Cup winner in 4, Elvira Oeberg, who sits third in the overall World Cup rankings. The 2 Oeberg sisters, Mike, Hanna is second, Elvira third, and they are 16 points apart. So Elvira has to beat Hanna Oeberg by at least 2 places if she's going to have a chance of being the runner-up this year.
A really interesting entrance to the range. So Simon deliberately and significantly increased the pace up Hellner back in to get all the pulses, really spice it up into the range, and then attacking, aggressive, rapid fire. She's quite amazing.
How many do we say would shoot clear?
Yeah, we're there or thereabouts. 15. I thought maybe up to 17, but some taking a risk.
Yeah. And that increase in speed from Simon probably putting pay to 20-22 going clear, but it's 50% again. So we're expecting 7 or 8 to come out of the second shoot. Sometimes it's a little bit more, around 10, because they've got the sights in. They relax a little bit more for that second shoot. And then generally, we're down to 3, 4 or 5 with the perfect score coming into the range for the last time.
3 athletes really surprised me there, Patrick. Minkkonen normally cleans those first 5 down. She's missed 1. Benet very rarely misses any out of 20. She missed 1 out of 5. And Voigt as well, she's missed 1.
2 athletes out front, and the same 2 as yesterday, Julie Simon and Hanna Oeberg. They've both got to be tired, Mike. We often say that, racing 3 times on the trot is fine, provided you don't have to put in an all-out sprint at the end of one of them. And they certainly had to do that yesterday.
Yesterday was so intense for the 2 leaders at the moment. They must feel it, but very much inspired, very much at the top of their shooting game, so that gives confidence.
Batovska Fialkova, who has announced that she's retiring. That's a real shame. And, she's had such good ski speed. The Slovakian team will miss her badly come next year. Number 28 for USA, Margie Fried. The Americans still on a high after their successes in Estonia. And Lisa Vittozzi, a little bit off the boil at the moment. 36 seconds behind, having missed once. But a long way to go. No one has hit 20 out of 20 in a mass start this season. And that includes the Olympic Games. Michelin missed 2 and still came home with the gold.
Oh, and it wasn't a long 12.5 kilometre, but it took a long time with the thinner air and the difficult tracks and conditions at the Olympics. 37 minutes. They're normally around 32, 33 minutes.
Well, Julie Simon, a graph of her form over the season is just a straight line up to the ceiling, isn't it? From one corner of the room to the other. It's been absolutely brilliant, and she could quite easily win on the last race of the season. That would make it 3 out of 4 pursuit victories for the year, and consequently she would be taking that crystal globe home.
I called actually on the range that Tannheimer cleared all 5. My mistake. She missed 2. I really thought I saw the graphic, but she's struggling now at the back of the race.
Yeah, minute 15 was the separation between first and last coming out of the range. The pace at the front is now quite stiff, so I imagine that's gone up to somewhere close to a minute 45. Johansson of Norway was 22, now at 25.
Yeah, great to see Tandra rolled up there. She took her time. She was very careful in terms of her shooting speed. She's 19 seconds behind, or she was leaving the range. Huge amount of time, but she got all 5 down.
18 is Johansson, 13 just behind her, Vanessa Voigt. Did Voigt missed a target, Mike? Something's desperately wrong, but she's still going to finish the season, I would have thought, with over 90% hit in both prone and stand. And I think she is almost certainly going to be head of the shooting standings for the season.
And in 4th place, or is she 3rd place, Batovska Fialkova. Love to see her on the podium today. As with Hauser, both of them, it's their last day ever in terms of World Cup racing.
Now, you saw one of the French coaches run alongside Julie Simon there. Do you think that was an instruction to change the sights, or just confirmation that she was smack in the middle?
I thought that his intensity, it was letting her see the picture. I think they were to one side, or she needs, I think, to make an adjustment.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Simon, see if she changes the sights before this second shoot. Elvira Oeberg skied well, gone from 5th up into 3rd place, takes her place on the mat alongside her sister. Jeanmonnot, the highest, and Simon, very, very high hit rate this season in the prone position. Now, Oeberg put pressure on Simon yesterday, but Simon's so quick with the first shot that that's become impossible. She matches her shot for shot. She's got a bit of skiing to do to close the gap. Batovska Fialkova misses Haki Gross. You did say this morning Haki Gross might have a podium finish, which would be brilliant because it's been a dire season for her. Tandrevold, another 5 targets down. The targets are either growing or it's her confidence that's going up.
Biggest surprise, Jeanmonnot is turning right. Not once, twice on the penalty loop. What happened there? It's so out of character for the great Jeanmonnot.
Yeah, Vittozzi gets 5 this time. Johansson another 5. Voigt missed 1 last time. No mistake this time round. And Margie Fried missing shot number 2. Shirka Ida skied quite hard on that last loop. She's taken a long time to get the first shot down. But at the moment, 4 out of 4. And Shirka Ida certainly heading for the under-23 title for the year, but already quite a long way behind the leaders. I'm not sure we're going to see her match her Olympic success.
I'm just wondering if Jeanmonnot is still on the penalty loop. What will be going through her mind? So secure normally when it comes to her shooting, but randomly missing two. The wind did pick up this time in for prone though.
Jeanmonnot, you can see where all her shots went from the first round. She was on lane one for both shoots. And interesting, she was way over left, which was exactly why they wanted to get information to her. So there are the timings. Haki Gross, Elvira Oeberg dropped another few seconds. She's losing 3 or 4 seconds with each shoot, Mike. And Elvira up into third place. Haki Gross just behind her in the sort of slightly blood orange red, I think I'm going to call it.
And interestingly, we still have 10 athletes who've hit 10 out of 10. All shots fired have put the target down. I thought that might have dropped to around 8, but that was pretty good, given that the wind did pick up a little.
Yeah, you can see the national flags just fluttering behind the stands. Haven't seen the King this morning, but he was here all yesterday. He did come for the 2 best races of the season.
He did, and you know, today, are we going to see another finish? Well, it'll be quite amazing if Simon and Hanna Oeberg were charging again to the finish line. I think it would be a different strategy coming into the 3 lanes they should and can collect and enter.
Janina Hettich-Vals, another athlete who may well be quitting at the end of this season. Michelin just behind her in the blue, but it's a familiar sight again. They lead up the hill. The one athlete that Simon does not want behind her is number 2, or 3 for that matter. So the Swedes have done brilliantly, the 2 Oebergs. Just so impressed, Mike, because there's been a lot of pressure at the end of the season. Winning the Nations Cup standings for women for the first time ever, that's a massive deal.
It's a huge, and that's a confidence builder, and I think for the Oeberg sisters, it's always to have somebody that you know so well, you've grown up with, almost alongside you, and they've been sharing podiums quite a lot this year, so that must give them both energy.
Yeah, just update you on the shooting. Vittozzi was quickest on that second shoot, 22.2. Haki Gross, 22.6. Simon, who was fastest on the first shoot, 23.9. And Haki Gross second on both shoots so far. So she's shooting better, shooting faster, skiing better. Where has this form been all season?
Quite amazing. The fastest time for lap 2 was Gesblom. She's just gone past us, bib 24. Tandrevold really is back on form, isn't she? Second fastest on lap 2.
Yeah, and Tandrevold hitting targets today, and she is one of the 10 to have hit 10 out of 10. Johansen is another from Norway. There's always someone who's missing, Mike, and today it is Breza Boucher.
Right at the back. That's so sad for Breza Boucher. Missing 5 already. 50% hit rate in prone. No confidence there, sadly. Hopefully she can get 10 out of 10 standing. And Jeanmonnot, it's so rare we see her down below halfway in the field. She's 17th out of 30. She'll probably come back solid and safe when it comes to the next 2 times into the range, which is standing.
A minute behind. It's a big margin when you've got these 3 up the front. And this, essentially, Mike, is the battle for 2nd and 3rd place in the overall rankings. Now, Julia Simon is a little bit behind. Actually, she's 101 points behind Hanna Oeberg, so she can't catch her. And she could catch Elvira if Elvira failed to finish, but I can't see that happening. And as we mentioned earlier on, some 16 points separating Hanna Oeberg and Elvira. Hanna wearing 2, Elvira wearing 3, the younger of the 2 sisters. And then here are the athletes that are trying to spoil that Swedish party. Haki Gross on the left wearing 26, Tandrevold wearing 22. Is she going to be able to hit the standing targets? She's actually got quite a good record here in Oslo this week, Mike. So the confidence must be, I'm not going to say high, but it must be in a better position than it's been at any other stage this season.
Look at the branches on the trees behind. The wind has picked up, and that makes stand shooting especially even more tricky. Yes, Tandrevold absolutely took the long way around on Hellner back in the huge climb they've just come up, and maybe that was sensible. She's moved 4 places forward.
Yeah, Haki Gross closing down on the leaders. She's now sort of in the form that we saw at the World Championships last year. Switzerland coming so close to getting medals in their own home championships. Haki Gross leading the charge, but it didn't quite come off. And they have closed the gap down on the leading three, who are playing a game of cat and mouse here. Those behind stand tall to avoid running up onto the back of the athlete's skis in front. Doesn't harm the athlete in front, but it might damage the bases of your skis. First, who's going to get the first one down, Mike? Yesterday,
Yep.
we said Simon, but Oeberg was fractions ahead, trying to put fresh pressure onto the French athlete, and she's not experienced that sort of pressure before.
I think it's Simon. She's in place almost already, and she lets go quickly under 10 seconds. Oeberg,
Hanna beat her by a fraction. How important is that? One miss from Simon, so a penalty loop to ski. 5 out of 5 for Hanna Oeberg. Elvira needs one if she's going to challenge. She will. It's the two Oebergs back out in front again. Don't tell me they're going to be on the podium for the 4th time together in the space of 3 weeks. Hettig Vals for Bornikova could spoil that party. 3 misses for Gesblom. She's out of it.
Oh, pressure. And they really did push the pace up, Hellner back in. So for Bornikova, the Olympic bronze medalist, she's so good under head-to-head pressure.
Well, this is great for Bornikova. She was on my list of great occasions, actually, Mike. Just ran out of time. That 3rd place in the mixed relay for Czechia in Novo Mesto in front of 25,000 fans was sensational. And actually, when she finished top 10 in the individual races, the crowd response had her in floods of tears. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
And you know, it was so lovely to see an outsider. Yes, she shoots really well, but she probably woke up thinking, I may have a chance, a very slim chance of a medal. But to put it together under the pressure of the Olympics, no wonder she was emotional.
Now, did Tandervold miss 2 as well?
She missed one. She missed one.
Julie Simon a bit quicker with a rifle and comes out 46 seconds behind, so 23 seconds for each penalty loop. Still no real recovery from Jeanmonnot. Now, if Jeanmonnot can get up the front and win this one, then she might just sneak ahead of Simon in the mass start rankings. What is that feeling like, Mike, when the last standing target goes down in a really high pressure situation?
It's a wonderful feeling. You have commanded extreme pressure, stability. You're running out of air on the 5th shot. You're desperate to breathe again, and it's elation. You can break free, and you feel energized actually for 500 meters until the pain starts again.
Now, they often say, if you think you can, you can. But did you ever doubt your ability to hit the last target and actually end up hitting it?
Very occasionally. I try to build a mindset, and that's created in the summer. And, you know, I used midges, chronic midges, to let nothing try and break into my mindset on that last shot. And often it was pretty good for me, pretty safe. At the times that you miss, you feel terrible because you know it's mainly you stepping back from the fight. You know, you're frightened of squeezing the trigger.
Yeah, and if someone's never experienced the Scottish midge, I think you'd sort of probably have to cover your face in honey and release a load of blue bottles. It would be a similar sort of situation. That has to strengthen the mind.
I think so. You know, in the west of Norway, Bergen, that area, they have midges as well, what they call it, muga. And they never tried that technique, but the midges were less aggressive there as well in Bergen.
Yeah, I think the New Zealand sandflies would be equally as effective. Certainly teach you to shoot a bit faster. Well, the chasers are not far behind. Still only a 9-second gap, and Tandrevold hasn't given up on this one. Are we going to see her on the podium for the first time this year? She's got a good chance, but I think she has to go 5 with 5 on the last shoot. We have 5 athletes still with the perfect score. It's just work to the script. How and why that happens, Mike, when the wind conditions are always so different, it is extraordinary. And Julie Simon coming back, 6 seconds gained on this lap so far.
Do you know, she's bringing herself straight back into the race. Look at the big names. Vittozzi's there at 33 seconds. She's rapid fire. Any mistakes up the front for this last time in will be punished.
Yeah, Johansson again, 15 out of 15. Her homework for the summer is obviously to try and develop the ski speed a little bit. Michelin, Haki Gross have been pretty much locked together all the way round so far. They both missed 2 targets. Brézard Boucher is going to miss another 2, so she's on 7. I think she might as well just do a Gledhill, I think, and enjoy the last couple of laps, Mike.
I don't think it's not like the 50-kilometre. You're not being offered any snacks or drinks on the way around here.
No, that's true. That is true.
Hey, this is unusual. The Oeberg sisters, I cannot think in a mass start where this has been a situation. They're both leading, or they're both up front, coming in for the final pressure shoot, the 5-shot standing.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on the margin. They left the range 11 seconds ahead, and Verbornikova and Hettig-Vals have matched them. The Oebergs have raced hard over the last 3 weeks, so I would imagine they're a little more fatigued. They'll be grateful that the snow is a bit firmer today because they're both big athletes, strong athletes, and they rely on power as opposed to floating over the snow. Tandrevold with that different technique, again going to that right-hand side. Do what the locals do, they often say, Mike, but it does look to be an awful long way around the outside of this turn.
Do you know, they're great. Yeah, I agree. The A to B straight line is best, but Tandrevold is setting the fastest time. That's 2 laps in a row now. Lap 2, lap 3, she's fastest time. And actually, she was faster by nearly 5 seconds than Elvira Oeberg on lap 3.
Yeah, the first of the standing shoots, because I know a few people interested in the shooting times. Again, Vittozzi, Simon, Haki Gross, those 3 have been at the top for every shoot so far today. Vittozzi winning, and the only athlete to go sub 20 seconds for her 5 shots in the stand position. That's got her back up into the top 6, challenging for a good finish. Vittozzi on 845 points. She's 43 points. No, sorry, 38 points down on Hanna Oeberg in the overall World Cup standing. So if Vittozzi goes 5 out of 5 and the 2 Oebergs both miss 2 apiece, then that could change the top positions. Elvira the better, but only by a fraction so far this season. Are we going to see another Oeberg 1-2 as we did in Kontiolahti, the first round of the World Cup after the Olympic Games? Hanna on lane 1, Elvira lane 2. Hanna should strike first. There is the window. But Elvira Oeberg slightly distracted. Now a chance for Verbornikova and Hettig-Vals to come through. The fairy tale could be coming to an abrupt halt here. Verbornikova knows exactly what she needs to do. Hettig-Vals throwing the first 2 wide. A chance for Tandrevold. The crowd getting on their feet. 3 out of 3 for Tandrevold. She hates 4. She hates target number 5, but she gets it down. So 1 loop for her. And guess what? It could be Vittozzi's moment. 5 out of 5 for Vittozzi. The pursuit Olympic champion rises to a brilliant best to clear the 5 and put herself in the running. But Hanna Oeberg's away, penalty paid, and she could win yet another race. Vittozzi behind Mike, who's worked harder on this loop. I think Vittozzi's probably expended more energy so far.
That was quite amazing. Vittozzi, there was such a cool smile there when she hit all 5 rapid fire, going from what, 5th, 7th position up into 2nd. Brilliant.
Well, Tandrevold in fourth, 26 down. Tandrevold's regularly recorded the fastest timings. In her favour, she's got Batovska, Fialkova with her, who is quick. Against her favour, she's got both Elvira Oeberg and Julia Simon behind her, and Simon leading Ocean Michelon. Number 18 there is Martha Johansson. I think she's going to struggle if she can stay in the top 10. That would be an excellent day for her. But the favourite at the moment, Hanna Oeberg, 8.6 clear of Italy's number 1, Lisa Vittozzi, and Pornikova. Is she going to get on the podium for the first time?
I think she might, but Tandrevold's on a mission. Batovska, Fialkova, it's her last race ever. She's going to be inspired to push this last lap so hard. So for Pornikova, a little bit precarious.
What a final shoot that was. Well, the family dream coming to an abrupt halt there, Mike. Hanna missing 1, Elvira missing 2, but she's still in 6th place and certainly is not out of a chance of getting on the podium. She's only 11 seconds off the podium, but Elvira had a hard chase yesterday, Mike, to try and win, and I wonder what the fatigue levels are like.
They're going to be so high, without a doubt, in Hanna's body. Elvira's pushing hard as well. I thought it was strange. Elvira, she realised her sister missed the very last shot. Then she hesitated on shot 4, and she missed 4 and 5. So maybe thinking about her sister missing her shot.
I absolutely agree with you there. The timing was just wrong. That's why there's such a huge advantage for being the first to shoot. Vittozzi was at 8.6. It looks to those she's closing it down. Is Pornikova holding her own? She came out at 19. Tandrevold was 7 seconds down. Has definitely closed a little bit, but Tandrevold and who was with her, with Elvira Oeberg, Mike, they're running out of hills, and it's the hills where they're gaining.
That is, and Tandrevold, she's sharp, she wants this. She's had an awful season by her high standards. A podium to end this season would just absolutely make her relax all summer.
I think Vittozzi wants this. Vittozzi, 11 wins in her career. You could argue she's hungrier, not having won in the... Well, she did win the pursuit in Otapa last week, but she hasn't won this week and has been close. Certainly deserves a win. 1.5 seconds, so she's closed 7 seconds down. And I think Hanna Oeberg, Mike, will be thinking, I can't believe I've got to do it all over again 24 hours after the hardest finish I've ever had.
And maybe Hanna will be thinking second place right now, the way that Vittozzi's pulled back so easily. Those, what was it, 8 seconds?
Yeah, Pornikova is holding off Tandrevold and Oeberg. She is skiing as well as she has done at any stage this season. It's another sprint finish coming your way in the women's biathlon, last race of the season, and we're building to a big climax here. Oeberg versus Vittozzi. We've got Hanna Oeberg, who has been the star of the last 3 weeks, up against Vittozzi, the Olympic pursuit champion.
I'm just, when I was preparing for this race, with Vittozzi, you mentioned on 11 victories, 6 of them came in the pursuit competition. She's never had a mass start win, and that really amazed me. And I thought, could she do it today? Because it's so similar to a pursuit competition, which she absolutely loves.
Yeah, slightly different psychology. Generally in the pursuits, Mike, she starts, you know, in 5th or 6th place, and she loves chasing. In this game, they all start together. It is a very different psychology.
It is, but you know, when we saw her in 7th position coming into the range, I think I alluded to the fact that she could strike. If they're missing up the sharp end, she could come through, and she was 33 seconds behind. So it is the psychology of the pursuit competition, chasing game.
Yeah, this is where Hanna Oeberg went yesterday. She went ballistic at this stage. It's a very different style. I think she's just trying to match Vittozzi as opposed to expend the energy. And I think she's probably learnt, Mike, that you probably want to be in 2nd place for the next 600 metres and then overtake in the last 50. But if she doesn't lead, she can't play the same trick. I think Hanna Oeberg is tired. Vittozzi looking very, very fresh.
This is going to be interesting. Hanna knows full well she has to get right in behind now in the slipstream to have a chance of an attack to the line.
Now, would you want to take the Northug step first or second?
I think I would want to, as Hanna did yesterday, lead up that Northug step up behind the back of the range. Then you command which lane and maybe even close the door on your rival, as happened yesterday.
Vibornikova still some 30 metres ahead of Elvira Oeberg, but Elvira Oeberg is on the charge, trying to close the gap down. Which way is this one going? Is it going to be Italy or Sweden? Hanna Oeberg with 4 wins this season, 2 of them coming in the last 2 races, trying to make it 3 out of 3 here in Oslo, and she pulls aside, uses the slipstream well, and she's got the inside line for the next corner, which could prove to be crucial, and Vittozzi realises that, puts on a burst, pulls away. That could be a deciding factor. The Italian looking very, very strong at the moment, and she does not want Hanna Oeberg to be able to choose the lane into the finish, and I think it is done and dusted. Vittozzi is 5-6 metres clear.
So clever she is. She didn't feel under pressure when Hanna came alongside, but she knew she had to release and really attack.
Yeah, I think the fatigue factor from yesterday is certainly relevant, Mike, but I think Vittozzi probably wanting this one a little bit more. World Cup win, number 12, coming Vittozzi's way. She finishes the season with a bang, another 90 points, and that may well put her up into the top 3 of the overall standings. We'll have to see exactly where Elvira Oeberg finishes. Hanna's got nothing left. 2 wins and a second. What a week it's been for her in Oslo. And Vibornikova, sensational for Czechia. They will be jumping on the tables in Novo Mesto. She's got herself into 3rd place and on the podium for only the 2nd time in her career. Of course, the first time was not a World Cup. It was the Olympic Games. And it was the mass start again. So she's got a good relationship with the mass start races. Elvira couldn't do anything about it. Down in 4th place. What a race to finish the season. And in the end, Julie Simon might, paying the price for those 2 misses in the stand.
Well, that last stand, from stop to start, it was 18.1 seconds. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. And on this occasion, it was an important part of the race.
Vogt with a 90% hit rate in 12, 1 place behind Shirka Ida, who's a minute off the pace of the winners. Rapinch has done well, 13th ahead of Tannheimer of Germany with 2 misses, and Jeanmonnot, the goal had been reached. There was, I don't think, quite enough incentive to go to the well again for Jeanmonnot. Down in 15th place. Suvi Minkkinen, Mike, such a good season up until Kontiolahti, really, where things started to slide away from her.
She just ran out of steam today. Minkkinen only missing 1, but the ski speed she was losing on 1 lap, 22 seconds.
So Hanna Oeberg finishing 2nd in the overall World Cup. And I think Lisa Vittozzi having to settle for 4th. She will have gone ahead of Suvi Minkkinen. So Minkkinen dropping from 2nd down into 5th place in the space of a couple of weeks. Same as happened in the sprint. Very, very disappointing. But, you know, the last 2 seasons, Mike, Minkkinen has been on a massive, massive rise. The Austrian Queen, Lisa Theresa Hauser, last race for her.
What a release to have her last race. She did quite well today. Same with Batovska, Fialkova. She was in tears there when she crossed the line. Benet, normally such a good shot, missing 4 today. She just doesn't have the ski speed. Grotian missing 4. She shot 20 out of 20 yesterday, but 24th position today. Ermit's showing her strength again. That's good news for the World Championships next year in Otapa.
Yeah, just trying to do the maths, Mike. Hanna Oeberg is definitely in 2nd place. She's on 958 points. I think Lisa Vittozzi might have gone into 3rd. 935. I've got Elvira Oeberg. She was on 8.67. She finished fourth, so gets 55 points, which takes her up to 9.22, unless I'm mistaken. And that means that Vittozzi is into the top three with that win today.
That's impressive. What an end to her season.
Batovska, Fialkova, another retiree, and a well-earned sip of sparkly champagne for Lisa Vittozzi. My goodness, what a servant she's been. 13 World Cup seasons. She was on the IBU Cup before that. And, of course, finished third in 22. That was probably her best season behind Roysland and Elvira Oeberg. And she can go back to Kitzbühel and probably enjoy a bit of alpine skiing. There's Simonada. Now, those two have done more mixed relays or single mixed relays together than any other pairing. Here's the sprint finish, the decisive moment up the Nortug step. And Vittozzi showing herself to be that little bit sparkier than Hanna Oeberg. But after yesterday's sprint finished, I don't think it's any surprise at all.
Hanna could not react. She tried. The brain said go. The body said no. Hanna Oeberg's so tired. And you know what? A well-deserved rest from now on.
What a season. For many, many seasons, pre-season, Hanna Oeberg has been top of everyone's list for winning the overall. It's not happened. It's never happened. But this year she shows that she does have the potential. Boucher. Hugely popular.
Yeah, she's so fast, Patrick, missing 50% of targets today. There's an issue there at this level, so I think she'll be happy the season's finished, but she needs a lot of work in the summer months if she continues.
Is her career finished? You know, the level she's shown this year, Mike, she's going to struggle to get into the French team at all. Yeah, I just feel a little bit sad. You know, all the controversy in the French team. I think actually Boucher has come off worse than anyone else. Just seems to have affected her sort of mental approach to the shooting more than anything else. But ski speed-wise, you know, 5 or 6 races this year, she has been the fastest on the tracks. There are your top 8, 34.58, the winning time from Lisa Vittozzi. She does it again, her 12th win, and she is definitely not retiring and could well be aiming for the overall World Cup next year. Vittozzi versus the Oebergs versus Jeanmonnot and Simon. What a season we could be in for in 2027.
Absolutely, and Vittozzi's final lap pace there, she was 8 seconds she had to pull back on Hanna Oeberg, then she went on to pull another 5 seconds out of Oeberg. Fantastic, aggressive skiing.
Well, what a day so far. We still have one race to go of the season, the men's mass start coming up this afternoon. Well, there you have the total score, and Vittozzi made that all-important step to go ahead of Elvira Oeberg. So the two sisters who've never both finished in the top 3 have just missed it this year. Shirka Idemai, under 23, in the top 10. Certainly, I think we'll see more form from her throughout the season next year. I don't think she'll fade as she has done this year. Hauser in 18th. That's not a bad way to bow out of biathlon. Jean Richard, disappointing season for her, down in 28th position. Hopefully we'll see better from her next year. The USA still, as I said, delighted with that podium finish in the mixed relay last week in Otterpa. And they have certainly taken an important step up the biathlon form ladder. Here's your champion, though, for 2026, Lou Jeanmonnot. Both Simonada and Hauser retiring this year. And a big hug for Lisa Vittozzi. Things going Italy's way. Pellegrino, of course, getting a win in the cross-country yesterday. That was massively popular in New York. Could they get a win this afternoon?
But Bornikova, she really has found her way this season. At the Olympics, she hit all 20. Today, she could afford missing one. The ski speed has improved. She looks so complete now. Hanna must have felt as she left the range for the final time that it was another victory. The form has been so good. Had 8 seconds, but of course, her last stand, missing the last shot, was a negative. She would have been some 40 seconds ahead had she not missed the last shot. An opportunity for Vittozzi to come through with 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and had she not missed the last shot, I think her sister would have hit the last 2 as well. But that's biathlon. You're never quite sure what is going to happen. Vittozzi now with the full house, I think. Mike, sprint, pursuit, individual, and now today a mass start.
She does. It was quite surprising, and you're right. She's a hunter. She likes chasing, and that was the situation when she came into the last 5 shots of the race.
I'm just trying to see how far behind she was at one stage. She was well over 40 seconds behind her at one stage. Of course, missing targets early on, Vittozzi, but you do not give up in this game. And yeah, I think between sort of 35 and 40 seconds she was behind in the early stages, but she
Lisa,
came to the front at just the right time.
What a battle it was on the final lap. Tell us a little bit about this, and where did you manage to find these powers?
I don't know. Today I wasn't sure to start because I was pain in my stomach, so I'm glad that I start today, and I feel good on the last lap, and I try to give everything, and I'm happy that I win.
And actually it is your first must start win, and now it is the end of the season, so a very good way to finish it, huh?
Yeah, it's really nice to finish like this, and yeah, I'm really happy.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, if they're all fit, Mike, the top 5, your Jeanmonnots, let's put Simon in there as well, Vittozzi, and of course the 2 Oebergs. Who's going to be the champion next year?
Well, the Oebergs are carrying a lot of status now, aren't they? The way they found form. Jeanmonnot is always hard to beat. She's tired today, but she's so solid when it comes to shooting. She won't give away many bad races. I think next year is going to be so exciting, and I am expecting Tannheimer and Grotian, 20-year-old, 21-year-old. I think they're going to come through eventually for Germany.
Well, Julie Simon with a 7th place finish. She missed 3 today. Still did enough to hold on to that mass start. Vittozzi leaping into 2nd place in the mass start with her win today. And Michelon pushed down into 3. And yeah, Minkinen dropping down to 10. Hanna Oeberg, 2nd, only good enough to push her up to 11th place. But a lot of the big names missed one of the mass starts this season. And that was because it was just before the Olympic Games, so they bowed out when it came to the Nova Mesto round. The overall, Mike, is as much a measure of stamina, isn't it? And Jeanmonnot is the one who, when she has a bad race, she's 4 or 5. The Oebergs are brilliant, but neither of them have been able to show that form right the way throughout the year. They've often relied on good skiing, exceptional skiing, but you cannot ski exceptionally fast for the full 4 months.
It's so difficult, and I like the model that Jeanmonnot has built her strength on. Above average ski speed all of the time, sometimes exceptional, but not always the best. The shooting, the bad days are not very bad at all. Hanna, her bad days in the sprint, she's down in 28th, 31st. So there's an easy fix there. Just build the consistency in the summer months to come in next year stronger.
So would you have liked the overall world title this year or an Olympic gold?
I would have gone for the gold anytime.
Who's the best biathlete? Sherka Ida, who had an Olympic gold, or Jeanmonnot?
Jeanmonnot absolutely
so why
stands
don't you
tall.
want to be the best rather than someone who got lucky on the day?
I think not lucky. I think you have to manage your day on that one opportunity, that 1 hour that only comes around every 4 years. And for me, that's unique, that's special. And of course, the world audience is watching as well.
And if a puff of wind comes at that same time, your chance is gone. I just can't get it. I can't understand it. The measure of a biathlete and an athlete with such an intense program is who can win the overall World Cup.
It's definitely huge. Cannot disagree. It's a massive status to win the overall World Cup. That lives forever. You're a legend. It shows how good you are consistently. I totally get that. But
yep.
Olympic gold, yep. I think 90% of this field, 99% would say, yep, give me the gold medal any day. Like
the world's obsession with the Olympics as opposed to the real sport. You know, it's. You can decide which side of the fence you want to be. But you're not allowed to sit in the middle.
But Michelon, you know, she won the gold medal, back in February. 8th today, missing 2 targets, only 40 seconds behind. You know, so she is still a top-class biathlete, a month later.
Well, the crowd have an hour or so, a little bit more before the start of the men's race. The men will be out fairly shortly just to sort of get themselves warmed up. The zeroing not until just before the race. They don't really have the entertainment tents here that we see in Hogfilsen and, of course, Antholz, Oberhof, where they all vanish for a couple of hours to get lubricated. Well, once the biathlon is over, just a look at what else is to come. The Women's Premiership Rugby, Loughborough up against Gloucester. The World Snooker Tour continues. And Ronnie O'Sullivan back in action. And, of course, the men's mass start later on. Well, Vera may be retiring, Mike, but the Italians, they haven't got a new star, but they've got a superstar.
They have a superstar, you know, but no other Italians in this lineup. So there is a building game, and you know they have the momentum after the Olympics, and I do think we'll see a strong Italian team next year, women's team coming into the first World Cup.
Not quite sure why the changing facilities have to be in the open for the women's race. That's rather extraordinary. I don't think I can remember seeing that before. So important to get the sweaty clothes off and get some dry clothes next to the skin, and of course get a bit of sugar into your body. She can afford that now, this stage of the season. So a quick look at those athletes who will not be competing next year. Franziska Preutz, the winner of the overall World Cup last year. Vera, 2 times overall winner. Long-term servant for the Austrians. Lisa Theresa Hauser. Batovska Fialkova, who I think has been on the best form of her life going. Vinklarkova of Czechia calling it a day as well. And Jean-Paul Giacchino bowing out of coaching duties with the French team. New look next year, Mike. How much or what examples do you have of a change of coach causing a change of fortunes with a team?
Do you know, I think in every occasion, a fresh face, a fresh personality lifts the team quite quickly. Something new, something fresh, something exciting. But we've seen many times that the second season or the third season, there can be drop-off. And I think Mazet will have an impact, an instant impact with the French team when he takes over a role there. But it doesn't always work. I think Joni Kakkonen for Vittozzi especially, and the Italian team, the Finnish coach, has consistently put in great effort and great work for the Italians.
Tandrevold must have so many nephews and nieces. They're all getting a shot at being in the flower ceremony. Maybe that's why she's raced so well this week. She finished 4th today. She was only some 7 seconds off the podium, which would have been a nice finish to her season. But you can see that the fact that she's hit a few targets, Mike, has put a big smile on her face. 90% hit rate for Tandrevold today. We haven't said that so far this year.
What a turnaround. You know, she seems happier. You watch her zeroing. She seems freer instead of pressure. What a difference it's made, you know, to sleep in her own bed, to get a change of scenery, and the results reflect that. I think Tandrevold must have had, what, 3rd, don't have it in front of me, maybe 3rd or 4th fastest ski time overall.
Yeah, good, great effort from Tandrevold, and made a chase, but you have to give credit to Vybornikova, Mike, hanging on to that 3rd place. And of course, in the Olympic Games, Vybornikova led out of the range after the last shoot.
Incredible. You know, she's improved, I think, since the Olympics in terms of her ski speed, and she proved that today with some big names chasing her. Tandrevold, but Batovska, Fialkova, Hanna Oeberg and Simon. I think Vybornikova, she's about the same height as Magnussen, not the tallest of biathletes, but very powerful.
That's an understatement.
Borut not happy. Where's Julia? Simon.
So Simon will be disappointed not to have been involved in the chase, but the mass start globe is going her way. She's prevented Jeanmonnot from getting the clean sweep.
I think Borut seems distracted, you know, with an extra little person in the lineup. I don't think he's comfortable.
Yeah, well, I think he should lighten up, because it's a great addition, and most of the papers featuring pictures of Tarjei Bo's son this morning in Norway, because he was regarded as the star of the show when he ran riot on the podium after yesterday's men's pursuit race. Maybe he'll be back this afternoon after the mass start.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the prize-giving ceremony for the BMW IBU World Cup Mass Start Women. Mine damer og herrer, velkommen til premieseremoni for BMW IBU Verdenscup, ja, fellesstart for kvinner. The medals are handed out by Executive Board Member in IBU, Tore Bøygard. The globes will be handed out by the President of the IBU, Mr. Ole Dahlin. And the presents will be handed out by Claudia Thiele-Seldenrich, Director Marketing, Branding and Events in Nammo.
Well, it'd be nice to see Tore Berger, of course, former Norwegian champion and overall World Cup winner. Vybornikova, the future for Czechia. Just wait until she races at Novo Mesto next year. We go there before the World Championships, actually, in Ottopa. Extra round of the World Cup next year, Mike. Start with Kontiolahti, Hogfilson, Le Grand Bonnat, then Pakuka, Ruhpolding, Antolz and Novo Mesto. So 4 in that midsection, then the World Championships, and we'll finish off with Oberhof, Östersund, and again wrapping up the 2027 season in Oslo. And it will be on the 21st of March, so 364 days from now.
In second place from Sweden, på andra plats från Sverige, Hanna Oeberg.
Hanna Oeberg, first and second here in Oslo. Doesn't get much better than that. Most consecutive wins for the women, of course, Magdalena Forsberg, who won, what was it, 8 wins back in 2001. Johannes Tingesbo, was it 11, Mike? in one season. He won in a row, missed a couple of races, but won 11 World Cups in succession.
Yep, 11 straight that he took part in.
Vinner fra Italia, Lisa Vittozzi.
Yeah, Italy split between the Vittozzi fans and the Vera fans. But Vittozzi doing herself no harm whatsoever today. Her 12th win and her first mass start victory. At 31, she's got a few more seasons, Mike. I wouldn't be surprised if she did the next Olympiad and we saw her racing in France.
Let's hear it for the podium. Lisa Vittozzi, Hanna Oeberg, Vabornikova.
Second ever podium for Vabornikova. The first one was in Antolz at the Olympic Games. And today she's got a top 3 in the World Cup, which is arguably harder than the Olympic Games because there are more athletes racing for the big nations. Elvira, 4th today, and she drops to 4th in the overall standings. That will hurt a little bit.
It will, and given Patrick, she hit the first 18 shots, she only missed the last 2. Not a good outing.
And Tandervold, bib number 22, indicating what her season has been like. But she's had a 5th, a 2nd, and a 5th here in Oslo. Transformed. And she's beaten Julie Simon, which takes some doing in the mass starts. What a great way to finish the season. Yeah, disappointing end for Brésard Boucher, Mike. 10 misses, down in 30th place.
You saw the disappointment on her face when she crossed the line. Nobody enjoys only hitting 50% of the targets. A really poor day. And I do wonder, will she come back next year? I hope she does. She's so fast. She's such a good biathlete. And she has won 6 mass start World Cup races. Well, and the Olympics 4 years ago.
And only one athlete hitting the perfect score today. And that, of course, was Johansen of Norway, who, if she shoots like this next year, and she builds a little bit of strength over the summer, could well be challenging Sjøke Ida as Norway's #1. Yeah, we need Norway to develop a bit of strength in depth, Mike. The Sweden-France battle is fantastic, but we need a 3 or a 4-way fight. Germany certainly look as though they could step it up a little bit. Anyone else got the numbers to do it?
Well, we've got, a growing momentum in the Bulgarian team, Todorova, Rishtova, so I hope there's some growth there, and I think there will be for next season. Someone tell me, what are we doing?
When you are good.
Yes, but on the podium?
Yes,
please.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ceremony for the award for the best athlete under 23 years. Mine damer og herrer, velkommen til seremonien for best utøver under 23 år. #1 and the winner of the Under 23 Award 2026 from Norway. Nummer 1 og vinner av premien som beste utøver under 23 år fra Norge, Maren Hjelmeset Kirkeide.
Kirkeide, the best of the under 23 athletes, top 10 in the World Cup standings. It's not been a brilliant finish to her season, to be honest. Outside, 19, 40, 37, and then today finishing in 11th place. So a bit of a comeback today, but looking very, very tired. And of course, she has an Olympic gold hanging at home already. So it has been a fantastic season, Mike. But for a youngster like her, maybe you'd expect her to start fading at the end of 21 races.
I think so. She only turned 23 on the 4th of March. And, such an intensity of races and the pressure of Olympic Games. She felt it to begin with. But she is a star. She's a star in the making.
Yeah, I like that trophy. I think I'd rather have that than one of the globes.
Oh, the globes, they look lovely. Yep, that does look pretty good.
Now, is she going to add a big globe to her name before her career is over? There's quite a lot of competition now, and I think that's why this season for me has been the best one we've ever seen, Mike. You know, the French have, what, 3, 4, 5 athletes who could win the overall. Sweden certainly have 2, possibly 3 if you're going to put Magnusson in there. Norway with Shirka Ida up and coming. The Germans, a couple of really talented youngsters as well. I think the future looks pretty rosy for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, France, you know, when you look at the IBU Cup results, the strength, the depth of the French men and women, it's exceptional. For the first time in the men's field, winning the IBU Cup, first time ever. Very strong athletes coming through.
And this is the winner of the mass start standings with 2 wins from 4 races. A disappointing finish today to be dropped down into 6th, but she played her part. And Julie Simon, the only athlete to have beaten Lou Jeanmonnot to a crystal globe this year. I think she's out of the woods, Mike. It's been a difficult couple of years.
Very difficult, a lot of pressure and some really incredible situations. That's all in the past now. But what a biathlete she is, a fearless, one of the strongest mindsets, but she did miss 2 out of 5 last time in, which is really so far out of character.
So well done to Julie Simon. Beaten, of course, to the overall by Lou Jeanmonnot. And I think we've got Lou Jeanmonnot on hand to just give her assessment of the season.
Lou, ça n'a pas été le feu d'artifice, mais le feu d'artifice il s'est étalé sur la saison.
Wasn't the race you wanted for the last day?
Mentalement, physiquement.
She say I'm absolutely physically, mentally exhausted.
Facile qu'hier, car elle était salée, c'est.
And she said the track was much easier today because of the salt, but
c'est le poids du globe
she still
de
didn't have any
chercher tous les
strength.
points à chacune des courses et à tout le temps calculé qui fait ça.
Very, very happy that the season is over.
Mais avoir tout le temps un maximum d'exigence, beaucoup de volonté et puis d'envie aussi. Et
she says
là,
that
peut-être aussi que
she's always pretty hard on herself, always focused, going for all the points in every race and all the Olympic medals.
Plusieurs mois d'affilée, c'est
yeah, she thinks probably she put too much pressure on herself for the season, so she's drained, and she said she noticed the difference in energy day to day here in Oslo.
Et voilà, aujourd'hui c'est moins bon, mais c'est pas ça du tout que je retiens, c'est l'entièreté de la saison.
T'arrives quand même à dézoomer
She
et
said
à te rendre compte
today
du
wasn't
chemin
so good. She
parcouru
finished
et
down in
des globes et des
15th place, but she won't remember this race.
Là, on va aller
Can she remember everything that's happened this year?
4 médailles olympiques, 4 globes. Ouais, ça va être facile de dézoomer, je crois.
Yeah, she's gonna remember it all, and it's going to be some good memories. 4 medals from the Olympics, 4 globes to take home. No one else can match that for the season. It's been a brilliant year, and you have to remember, Mike, 2nd last year, 2nd the year before that. Finally, she's on the top step, and she was so close in those years where she didn't win it.
And you know, she alluded to the mental strain, and she is hard on herself. She's had to keep so hard on herself to not let this moment slip away. She was so determined to never let the scenario last year happen again, where, yeah, she fell with 400 meters to go.
The 25-26 overall World Cup winner, Lou Jeanmonnot. And there's going to be a lot of emotion. And what a very nice touch. Francie Preutz, who robbed Jeanmonnot of the title last year in that epic, dramatic finish here in this very stadium.
I think that was a lovely touch, asking Preutz to come up and present the overall. And she did go and stay with Preutz. Jeanmonnot went for 4 days, I think it was, down to Ruhpolding to stay with Preutz in the summer months to just talk through what happened here and put it behind them.
Yeah, it's now just part of her story. Had she never won the overall, Mike, that would have hurt for a very, very long time. But now it's just seen as a character-building incident.
And you know, it definitely made her stronger. And she just talks about her mental strength. That, for me, she's one of the best we've ever seen. The consistency, the focus, but it does come at a price. She's completely spent now.
Well, she's got 8 months to recover. The last two winners of the women's overall, Preutz on the left, Jeanmonnot, this year's champion in the middle, and Ole Dahlen, the president of the IBU. Now let's have a chat with Fialkova, and she, of course,
Paulina,
racing her last race today.
But we can see some tears. How is it to finish here in Oslo?
Yeah, today I'm very emotional because, yeah, it finished something what I did all of my life. So, yeah, I'm emotional. But today I enjoy my last race and I finish in 7th place. To finish career in top 10 is a great honor for me, and I really appreciate it.
Do you have one main memory for your career?
Maybe I think 4 years ago here in Oslo I did 3rd place, but it was after a very challenging season for me, and at the very end I stepped on the podium, so that was also very emotional, and today I will for sure remember forever.
What's the plan now?
My plan is to take some rest, to spend finally some time with my family, with my daughter, and yeah, I will see what comes next.
Thank you.
Congrats. Thank you.
What an emotional farewell there from Paulina Batovska Fialkova. She's not had a bad season, twice 5th in Annecy-le Grand Bonnard in the races there in front of a fantastic crowd. And then, of course, 3rd place in Kontiolahti in the individual, where she hit 19 out of 20. And a decent result today. 3 races in Oslo, 3 top 20s, but she topped it off with 7th place in the mass start today, hitting 19 out of 20. She will be missed next year. Well, that is it from Oslo for now. We will be back with the men's mass start a little bit later on. That title has already been won by Perot, but there is an intense battle for positions 2, 3 and 4 in the overall World Cup. Hope you can join us for that just after 3 o'clock. But we leave Oslo with another success for Lisa Vittozzi of Italy, finishing ahead of the Super Swede, Hanna Oeberg.